And, yeah.
Okay, hello everybody. This is Eddie from the Bronx, and I am here on a very special edition of Sports Talk. We're going to talk about the world of wrestling and all that. We all know it. Like I said, I'm Eddie from the Bronx, and I go by another name with Tiger Talk Wrestling. I go by the Final Boss. So that's what we do that, and then I'm here with the host of Tiger Talk Wrestling, Tony. How are you?
Doing pretty good, thank you. How are you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good, sir. And then I'm here with the owner of Great Lakes Wrestling, H Town, H Town, hold down. I mean, whatever works for you, what you want to do.
H2.
H2. Um, Thanks
You'd
for
be
coming on.
surprised how often I get that.
Okay, good. I thought you were like a member of the Godfather's clan. Pimping ain't easy, big boy. You know how it is. Yeah. But yes, I would like to welcome you to the show and thank you for coming. And before we get started, I like to promote our new sponsor, Fashion Punks, down here in West Clayton and Muskegon. Come down and go to my friend's store, Marley, and mention our Tiger Sports or Tiger Talk Wrestling. Get 5% on anything in the store. So that is our new sponsor. So thank you to Marley and her family for letting me to do this, and she will promote us, and I would have her promote your wrestling organization as well. So that means we get more subscribers.
Greatly
Okay,
appreciated.
no
Greatly
problem.
appreciated.
No problem. Okay, so I am not very familiar with your organization because I went to the only thing I used to go back to the original ECW. So and all that. Which and I have watched your programming, really good programming. You got some guys that look like Jerry Lynn from back in the day. You got one guy that looks like Duke the Dumpster Drosy. So, so let me ask you this. Please tell me more about your promotion and how you got started and what was your favorite part of wrestling growing up as a kid.
All right. So, what got me into wrestling? My mom was a big fan. She used to, as an underage child, go to the bar and bet that, or no, it was my uncle would go and he would bet that he could name anything wrestling, any wrestling trivia that anybody could guess or ask. And then he would go and phone my mom, and my mom would give him the answers. So my mom's been a fan for a real long time, and he was getting underage like drinks and stuff. I'm like, so he was drinking off my mom. But so my mom's always been a real big fan. My mom and my dad got divorced when I was about 6 months old. So they had like a 90-10 custody split. So I spent a majority of my time with my mom, who was a big wrestling fan. So Monday nights was always Raw. And I just grew up watching it. And like, I wasn't like hooked on it per se. My mom says, so my mom's a huge Shawn Michaels fan. I don't know if she's a huge Shawn Michaels fan because Shawn Michaels is good or if because she was attracted to him or both. But she said I used to walk around when I was like 3, like singing, "I'm not your boy, toy." And so in 2002, when Michaels came back, our neighbors, we poor as fuck, everybody, all of us, we were all poor as fuck, grew up in the trailer park. Our next door neighbors, they bought the SummerSlam pay-per-view, and my mom was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go next door tonight and watch that wrestling pay-per-view. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, Shawn Michaels is making his return tonight. And I was like, oh, that's a name I remember. So went over and we watched from the very beginning, and like I was like hooked instantly. Like I think the first match was like shit. Some Rey Mysterio and I want to say Kurt Angle. And I think it might have been Rey Mysterio's debut. But dude, I was just hooked instantly. And like once it got to Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in the street fight, dude, I was like jumping up and I was like, come on, Shawn, come on. And then when Triple H hit Shawn in the back with a sledgehammer, like my mom said I was like jumping up and swearing at the TV, and my mom had never heard me like cuss before. And like I was in like third grade or going into third grade. So that is the birth of my love for pro wrestling. And from that moment on, it's like almost every Monday night, don't talk to me once 9 o'clock would hit. And then once it became the 3-hour program, don't talk to me once 8 o'clock hit. I've started to taper off from watching as much as I did. The business has changed so much, and weekly TV is really hard to do. So sometimes it's really up and sometimes it's really down, and the down has kind of soured me a little bit. I will say I do catch a couple hours of WWE a week, whether it be like an hour of Raw or like an hour of SmackDown. But that's what really got me into like wrestling. Like I do frog splashes out of the tree onto this mattress that we were supposed to throw away and stuff like that. And like doing backflips off of my aunt's van onto the trampoline. And I just always wanted to have, like, I didn't want to just be a wrestler. I also wanted to have my own company. And that carried over into like high school. And I started to make some friends that were like interested in wrestling as well, like more than just watching it or playing the games. They were like wanting to learn about it. And like I was watching like seminars on YouTube and stuff. So like I actually knew a little bit of stuff. And so that was where NWF Adrenaline was born. And that was our backyard fed. And yeah, we did all kinds of stuff on my trampoline and whatnot. And then we ended up, let's see, I was 25-ish. Yeah, no, 24. And it was a month after my wedding, we rented a ring from rentawrestlingring.com. Shout out to Merle. And some guys from another company called BCW on the opposite side of the state drove all the way over. Tony also came all the way over. And we just threw down in my front yard, and like that was all of our like first time in a ring. Like, and we were all like, we should do this again a lot more. So from there, we decided, I was like, y'all, like this rental was like $400. Like I can't monetarily afford to do this like as often as you guys are wanting to. Like if you guys want to do this, like I'm going to need some help. So we all decided to just pitch in. I think so the more I rented the like ring, like the more of like a deal I was getting cut. So like it ended up coming down to like $20 a person with as many people as we had. So the second time we went to do this front yard thing, rain forecasted, already paid for the ring. I don't think this guy is going to give me my money back if we cancel. So I start like calling around places like, would you let us like put a ring in here? Like we are not like gonna like bring fans in or anything like that. Like this is just kind of for fun and kind of for practice. We can offer you nothing monetarily. And we hit up, like I called so many places, like the Catholic school that I went to growing up. Like I tried them and they were like, are you a member of the church? And I was like, I went to your school for a few years. And they were like, no, we're really not interested in this at all. I'm like, dang, all right. one man returned my phone call. His name was Tim Perdue. Tony, you might know who I'm talking about. He is the owner of Top Notch Physiques, where shows currently reside. He said he was extremely interested in the idea and had space for us. So we met Tim the day of, and Merle came and we set up the ring, and that is where the Top Notch Physiques connection with me began. And we did we did this for probably like 12 more months. And at this point in time, most of us have seeked proper training, and we're actually working on the indies regularly. And I was like, y'all ready to do this thing like for real, for real? And I can't say everybody, about 5 of us were like, yeah, let's do it. And everybody else kind of backed off and tapered away or whatever. And out of the whole group, I think there's 3 of us that are still active.
Wow.
Out of like the probably almost 15. But so when we were doing
that, you and Kyle.
Yeah, that'd be something I want to hear. Who are the 3 that are still active in your promotion?
Myself, Kyle Shaddix, and signed to TNA Wrestling, Jason Hotch.
Oh yes. We know about Hotch, and by the way, congratulations to the Great Hands on winning your tag team championships. I saw it on your page. I'm like, holy shit, that is a major coup for your organization to have them represent you, plus also represent TNA Wrestling. And who knows, maybe you'll get the Order 4 coming soon to your organization. And yeah, that is a big thing for you. Like what you mentioned with Shawn Michaels and all that. I was actually at that event in 2002.
Nice.
I was actually there because I still lived in New York. Being from the Bronx, I traveled all the way over there. Hell of a ride on the trains, and having people drunk throwing up on you is not what you want to do. But my first experience with guys, and then we'll get back to your story if that's okay. My first experience was the very first WrestleMania. I was there with my mother. I was 4 years old. I met Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Mr. T, Randy Savage.
Nice.
And I went to the first 10 WrestleManias.
Nice.
So I remember that. So yeah, I know where you're coming from with the way the wrestling is different, but back then, hard mountain punch in the face. Now it's mostly like you're watching an episode of The View.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I agree with you. I agree with that. Tony, what was your first experience with pro wrestling? Then we'll get back to his story.
Oh, jeez. I haven't been to that many live shows, obviously, but
mine was your
first thing I remember, WrestleMania. Yeah, that was okay. I went to a SmackDown before that, but it was the first like indie big one. Yeah, right. But my first memory for watching wrestling wise, I mean, I've watched Raw ever since it began for the most part. But the first main pay-per-view I remember watching that my dad ordered was WrestleMania 10. Again, in Madison Square Garden, you had Brett versus Owen to kick off the show in a great match. I mean, how do you forget that show? Shawn and Razor, the ladder match, just blew my mind as a young kid at that point.
That one's still
seeing Brett win the title
today.
Well, here's the funny thing about, gentlemen, this is the funny thing about it. All the ones that you're saying, like, okay, the first WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden, I was there. I was at Madison Square Garden for WrestleMania 10. I was there. I was there for SummerSlam 88. at the Garden. I was there for the Mega Powers and the Mega Bucks. I was there for, anything that was in the New York area. I was at every event. Every first in, I was at it. SummerSlam, I was at the first Survivor Series. So because when I met Hogan, anytime I showed him my grades, I got tickets to any first ever event. Like you said, the one with Brett and Owen, I was at the Garden. What a magical night. And that was Randy Savage's last pay-per-view with the WWF before he went to WCW. So yeah, right. I get it. And all that. I was at the first Monday Night Raw at the Manhattan Center because it was downtown, and I always went there. I went to everyone at the Manhattan Center, and then when they moved it to Poughkeepsie, New York, I'm like, I'm not going all the way over to Poughkeepsie, New York, because it's basically a dead part of the city, part of upstate. I don't want to go upstate. I'm from the Bronx, bitch. But
right. It's like all the
Midwest. Yeah, right. But there's another thing I gotta ask you, and then we'll get back to your story. Favorite groups that you love?
Favorite groups?
Yeah.
Gotta be DX, man.
Okay.
Generation X. I will say I was a pretty big fan of the Elite when AEW first started. And like before, when there's like Cody, Kenny, the Bucks, Hanger, was that the 4? Yeah. And then they had like Cody, Kenny, man. Oh, there's 5. Okay. I said Bucks and I was counting and I counted them as 1. Yeah. But no, they were a lot of fun. I'm definitely a little soured on them. Yeah, man, DX, man, like that was such a fun like era. And then when it was like revived and it was just Shawn and Trips, I think honestly it was better. Like, I don't know if it's because I watched it live as it happened. A lot of people like talk a lot about the Attitude Era. I've seen a majority of the Attitude Era, but I didn't really pay attention to it until like after 2002, and then I went back and rewatched a lot. But everybody raves about the Attitude Era. 2003 is my favorite year. Huh? What was that?
I said probably on the network, on WWE Network back in the.
No, VHS, baby. There you go. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like 2003 to me is my favorite year, and that was because that was like the first like full year I really like sank my teeth into pro wrestling and really like tried to absorb as much of it as I could. And like I only was able to watch Raw because we didn't have UPN, but man, every Monday was just bonkers. Like we didn't have internet in the trailer, so when there was a pay-per-view, if the next door neighbors didn't get it, I had no idea all day Monday what the hell happened until Monday Night Raw kicked off. That's just it's just an era that like is forgotten about.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel the same way. Like I feel the same way you do. DX Revolution, the WWE, that was all gimmick. So I agree with that. And then you also got to put in the perspective is the New World Order. The NWO, the founding. There's only one member left of the founding fathers, and that's Scott Hall. I mean, Scott Hall's gone. Kevin Nash is the only one left. Hogan's gone.
That crazy.
I know.
We got Eric Bischoff still.
Yeah, but nobody cares. But
fuck that alive guy.
I know, right? But you also, and I'm gonna ask you because you're a DX fan. I always thought Evolution was the shit back in the day.
So back then, I was really drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say, and like if they wanted me to hate somebody, I fucking hated them. and I hated DX mostly because they were Shawn Michaels' like arch rival. Like,
yeah.
I had to root against them, and like got this old fucker Ric Flair who's sticking his nose in everybody's business, and just a fantastic manager. And then he can still wrestle too. You've got this 300 plus pound like mastodon Batista just wrecking everybody. You've got the young upstart Randy Orton, and then of course the cerebral assassin, the King of Kings, the game, Triple H. As I look back at it now, I'm like, man, that was a fucking good era, and that was a good time. But man, 4th grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade Hayden, fuck those guys.
Okay, so before we get back, I gotta ask you one thing, and then we'll go back to your story. Greatest faction of the 4 Horsemen.
Oh shit. So I wasn't a big WCW fan, and I have not watched a whole lot of WCW. So I couldn't tell you what members were active all at the same time. What I did catch quite a bit was like the era that like Benoit was in with the 4 Horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I couldn't tell you all the other members that were there.
Mongo McMichael and Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. Yeah, I got that one and all that. But yeah, so thank you for that part. So now let's get back to your story about where you left off about your promotion.
Yep. So once we kind of decided we were going to do this, we wanted to wrap up like the storyline that we currently had. So we were like, all right, we've got blank months to prepare for this. Let's wrap up what we got going on. At this point in time, like I'm saying, they lived almost all the way out in Toledo. I lived on the opposite end. If you're from Muskegon as well, right, Eddie?
No, I'm from Bronx, New York.
But you reside in Muskegon right now?
I reside in, yeah.
But he lives here in Muskegon, yeah.
Yes. So I live like an hour and a half like south of you.
Okay.
Or southwest maybe.
Hour and a half,
Either
hour
way,
40 minutes.
I'm like 30, 40 minutes from the Indiana-Michigan border. They're bordering Ohio. So we're doing these indie shows in South Bend, Indiana. And the easiest time to like do this stuff is the Sunday after every like EHF show. So these guys are driving all the way to South Bend, Indiana. We're doing our indie show, and then they follow me home, and like I got like 15 mofos trying to crash on my couch, and then the next day we're throwing down. So it was just a fun time. What birthed GLWA took place on February 9th, 2019. That was our inaugural event, Breakthrough. And
I was there.
I was so nervous and anxious. And once the show got rolling, I was like, all right, this is good shit. Like we actually had a really decent first crowd, and they were rowdy as fuck, and it was great. And I was like, man, I cannot wait to keep doing this. So that was where GLWA was born in 2019. We ran that whole year. And then in 2020, so we're not like any other indie fed around here. Every indie fed comes up with a new name for every show every month. We have our core 12 shows, and those are our 12 shows. We follow like the WWE formula. Every January is Breakthrough. Every February is Ground Zero. Every March is Turmoil. Wrestleversaries in April. Recoil in May. June is Collision or Resistance. No, we got rid of Collision because fucking Tony Khan.
Yeah, that bastard.
Yes.
Is Resistance, and then Summer Bash, and then Sip of Sins in August, which you guys watched last year. Oh shit. And then yeah, like we just do our 12. So like in when 2020 hit, we had Breakthrough, broke our attendance record. Ground Zero broke our attendance record. We're set to do Wrestleversary, and like our ticket sales were already like looking like we were going to break our attendance record a third month in a row, and then COVID shut us down.
So COVID broke it, basically.
COVID threw a monkey wrench into everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, and we literally, the week of the show, like, had to cancel the show, postpone it. So that would have been Wrestleversary 2. And so then we waited around until like June or July. And like we all were like, man, we are so fucking tired of waiting for this shit. And I talked to the owner of the gym, and I was like, would you let any of us in? And he was already like ready to basically open under protest. And he was like, for the first one, he was like, yeah, you guys can come in, just please no more than like 10 people at a time. So we filmed Wrestleversary 2 with the card as it was supposed to be, just minus like one tag team wasn't able to make it. And we filmed it over like 3 days. And then I began editing it, and then we began planning the next one. And the next one, he's like, you know what? You guys just come do your thing. I don't really fucking care. Like, bring as many people as you want. All right. He was like, just park like behind the gym so people don't see your cars. So before we even aired Wrestleversary, we had like, so we were filming like 4 episodes of Vendetta and the special. So I had Wrestleversary, 4 episodes of Thursday Night Vendetta, and the main and the pay-per-view like in the can before we even aired Wrestleversary. So we were able to take breaks. And so we were the only indie fed running during COVID for a while. And that's where a lot of like fans got to know about us. And that's where a lot of like workers got to know about us and wanted to come in because we were the only place running. And man, because of Michigan's like extremely strict guidelines, like Indiana was opened up and was letting like people come in, like they could have full houses for their shows, but we still were only allowed to have like 40 fans because of like the social distancing. So we were selling tickets in like pods of like 4, and it was like $40 for a pod. So it was like $10 a seat. If you wanted to expand your pod, you could. And I just had to rearrange the way everything was seated. And we had to do that for almost a year. So Wrestleversary 2 was where we started the empty arena stuff, the COVID stuff. And then Wrestleversary 3 is where we like started selling by the pods and stuff. And we actually, like, nobody really acknowledges records in wrestling, but I'm pretty sure we held the biggest Royal Rumble in Michigan history. We had like 50 people, probably extremely frowned upon during COVID, but I digress. We really just wanted to push the envelope, and we just wanted to make as much noise as we fucking could.
Right.
And then I want to say it was like Summer Bash that year. We just finally like opened the floodgates, like no more pods. Let's fucking pack top-notch physiques. And COVID really did hurt us, though. Like, we suffered a lot. A lot of people, all of us, went a really long time without getting an envelope, if you will. Like, no, pretty much everybody that was like working for GLWA at that time, I just put it all out there. Like, hey man, like our tickets are way down. People are not coming because they're concerned about COVID and all this and that. Like, if you want to wrestle for us, like, it's going to probably be on your own dime, and I'm not going to be able to share any monetary value with you.
Would you say that you guys lost specific wrestlers during that time that haven't been able to come back because of how COVID kind of shut everything down at the time? Or Has everybody
I
been able
wouldn't.
to come back?
I wouldn't say so. Pretty much anybody we've lost as a roster member has been by their own decision or by our decision. So we didn't really lose anybody because of COVID. And COVID didn't really help us trim any fat either, if I'm being honest. We were small and then we got medium. Now we're so big, like our roster's so big. Like I'm like turning people down every single day that are in our inbox. Like I have my core group, and like if you can't commit to 12 dates or at least 8, probably not going to use you.
See, that's what I agree with you, because back in the day, before Scott Hall and Kevin Nash went to WCW, that's the way wrestling went. That the promoter gave you certain dates, and if you wanted them, you had them. But if you don't, it goes to the next man up or the next woman up. A lot of these up and coming, because you're old school, a lot of up and coming guys will be like, well, I can't do that. Well, how the hell are you going to get people to know you if you don't do what they ask you? It's a commitment. If you want to be in the wrestling business, it's a commitment to excellence. And it's a commitment to the promoter that they can feature you and make you into a star.
Right.
That's the way I always feel with independent wrestling, and what you are doing to show these young up and coming kids. This is the way the business is. And if you can't understand that, work at a McDonald's.
Yeah. See, we're unlike any indie fed because we run 12 canon shows a month or a year, and we have storylines. A lot of companies, they'll have like maybe one storyline, and then the rest of it is just random matches. We don't do that. Like, there might be a filler match here or there, but we have a excellent commentary team that helps us like cover stats, and they will tell you like, hey, this person's been doing this, they're trying to get to here. So if it seems like a random match, we're building.
Mm-hmm.
They're fighting for rank. That's what it is. And like our storylines flow really well, one right into the next typically. Like, okay, example, Dustin Mack and Kyle Shaddix were in a feud for almost a whole year 2 years ago. Dustin Mack just had a ladder match, WrestleMania 10. We had 2 top-notch champions, so we had a ladder match. Mm-hmm. Big Jorge versus Dustin. They've been in a feud for almost pretty much this whole year. And Kyle Shaddix pushed Dustin off the ladder. Now Kyle Shaddix and Dustin Mack are in another feud. It flows right next into the other. There's no like we don't have to do like a backstage segment to set up this feud. Like if I film something for socials, I don't know if all of our fans that are in attendance are going to see it. And I also don't know if it's working. If I do it out in front of the crowd, I know exactly if it's working or not by the time those guys hit the curtain, because the fans are telling me if it worked.
Absolutely. Right. It's always good. As a wrestling fan like I am, it's always good. Backstage summons, yeah, they work okay sometimes, but you're absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, when he is saying that do the damn promoting of a match and a storyline, doing it in front of the live crowd, you're going to know it's going to be, and I'm going to use the word of one of the great WWE Hall of Famers, you're going to know if it's a slobber knocker or all that other shit. Doing it in front of the live crowd, because they will tell you if this absolutely works or it absolutely sucks. that you will have to make a difference. So what he is saying, listen to this man. This man knows what the hell he's talking about, and he's doing it right. And yes, he does look a little like Eric Rowan of the Wyatts.
Damn it.
But,
Hey, man.
but
ROH Pure Champion Daniel Bryan. ROH Pure Champion Daniel Bryan.
There you go. There you go. But I just want to say to you, as a wrestling fan, and then we'll get back to your story, as a wrestling fan, to hear your passion for this business, because I've been watching it since 85 and all that. I want to say thank you for keeping that tradition alive. A lot of fans don't know how much hard work it is for an independent promoter to show these people. We got to do it in a live crowd, because backstage segments don't work all the time. But I just wanted to say thank you for that.
I can't do it without the fans. I
Yeah.
can't do it without the sponsors.
Yeah.
So, shout out Top Notch Physiques, Drop Shop Clothing. Always rep them every single day. Slackers Family Fun Center. Who am I? Golden Eagle Tattoo, Puff Cannabis Company. Shout out to them because they support us and they help us do what we do. And shout out to the fans that come every single month, because for a while we only had one regular fan that would come every single month. And I don't know what happened right around 2022, 2023. It was like, so 2022, 2023, I was pretty fucking burnt out, and I was pretty disappointed with our attendance for the last like 2.5 years. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, I am so burnt out on this shit. Why am I spending money on flyers? It doesn't even seem like it's fucking working. So I was like, I'm not even going to fucking flyer this show. It was a Final Destination. 2 weeks before that, we did a free show, 100% free. The gym did had a Halloween party, and I went out and I hung flyers for Final Destination, and I hung flyers for this Halloween show. And like, I was like, if this doesn't fucking work, I'm not fucking flyering shit ever again. And it was honestly the Halloween show, because people were like, oh shit, this was free. And like, Tim fucking blasted it. We had such a shit card too. Like we were, it was nothing special whatsoever. It was almost like a house show. But we filmed it just because I was like, it's extra content. Like, fuck it. And so it was like almost like a house show, but it wasn't a house show. It was like fucking the Shield's last ride type shit. And 100% free. And like, we had a decent turnout from it. And those fans all came back the next weekend, plus the fans that didn't come to the free show. I'm like, oh shit, that worked. Huh. And then like, who was it? I think it was Darren Fly, who was just a ref for us. I'm like, I want you to stand at this fucking door, and I want you to shake every single fucking fan's hand and thank them for coming and ask them how they fucking found out about this show. And like, flyers, word of mouth, blah, blah, blah. And like, I was like, okay, interesting. So I was like, all right, at the next show, we had our ring announcer. He was like, as he's like saying goodbye to the crowd, telling everybody to be safe, plug in the next show. He's like, I want you guys all to go out and tell 5 friends about GLWA. And like, the next show, our attendance grew. And I was like, oh shit, okay, we're doing stuff. Something's like clicking. And we went from being the indie fed that a lot of people were shitting on and calling us trashy and yard like, to being the indie fed that has TNA talent in our inbox. Like, even like, we could not afford them, and I'm not going to name drop them, but we've had several talent that are currently signed to TNA that was signed to TNA at the time, like in our inbox. Hey, like, hey, we've heard about your guys' stuff, blah, blah, blah. We're looking to work out that way, blah, blah, blah. Can we come in? Cannot afford you. So sorry. But it's a good problem to have, you know?
Most definitely having that with all that. But so the other thing I want to ask you, because as myself and I know Tony know, and he told me a little bit your championship situation about. I like to know first of all your champion, your titles, all your titles, and who are your current champions. And then the second thing, please promote your upcoming you're on Patreon, right?
Yeah, we have a Patreon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I asked. I'll
We
pop it
were
up here
doing
again, but that's what.
we were doing live like pay-per-view,
Yeah.
but the gym has a pretty terrible internet connection,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really hit or miss on the quality. So I'm like, I'm I'm not comfortable putting it out there. So like, we do have the Patreon though, and we do put the shows on Patreon once they're fully produced. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll have all the bells and whistles with like the lower third graphics that have like the nameplates, and you can hear the commentary, and there's 3 camera angles. We do that, but I don't do live pay-per-view. Like if you want to see the show live, like you pretty much got to come to Top Notch Physiques.
Most definitely.
But our champions right now, GLWA heavyweight champion is Saucy Josh Morris, who he came to us during the COVID era as lifeguard Josh Morris. And just when Josh came to us, he wasn't the best and he wasn't like polished, but he went out and he was trained by Dan the Beast Severin and rolled around with Dollar quite a bit. Dollar, like Tony, you know who Dollar is. Dollar was like Dan Severin's prize student and like hand selected student to run Dan's school and to run Dan's promotions. So Dollar at the time was like, he was trying to travel around quite a bit, and Josh, he was just such an awkward fucker. And he just like basically said to Dollar, like, hey, I want to be good at this. Can you help me? And Dollar like retook Josh under his wing. And Josh, man, he is like, I don't think he's reached his full potential yet, but man, he is fucking good. Like, he was our inaugural Vendetta champion. Josh has held gold more in GLWA than he hasn't. So he was our inaugural Vendetta champion. He is the longest reigning top-notch champion of all time, and now he's our heavyweight champ. He's won the Erie Cup Invitational Battle Royal, and he's won the Race for the Case ladder match. If you can name it, Josh has done just about all of it. Only belt he hasn't held in GLWA is the tag team championship and obviously the women's championship. So Josh, he's special. Like, he's a good one. He's and man, he knows how to fucking promote himself. And yeah, Josh. Man, I hate to give Josh Morris so much praise because he is a shitbag, but our tag team champions, as you know, TNA's Great Hands, Jason Hotch and John Schuyler. Jason Hotch was me and him had our first professional wrestling match and our first match in a ring together. And on the Indies, we had our first match together. Hotch was the first ever GLWA heavyweight champion back when he was known as Jason Page. Yeah, they just came in and they really fooled us all, I will say. In the first match of the tournament, they kicked off the night, and they had the crowd eating out of the palm of their hands. They were chanting John Schuyler, like they were loving him. And then to quote Eddie, John Schuyler took primetime Thomas Heim to Dick Kick City.
Dick Kick City, there you
go. Then Isaiah like watched that happen and like looked at Hotch and was like, "That's your guy." And he went to get John Schuyler, and John Schuyler did the whole Ric Flair, like, "No, I'm sorry. It's the heat of the tournament." Blah blah blah. Hotch slides in the ring. low blows Isaiah, rolls him up. Now our tag team title belts are sitting on Carlos Silva's desk.
Well, at least he has another championship because he's sure fucking up giving the world title and the women's title to NXT. So at least he gets your promotion and it helps you down the road.
Yeah, I will say, like, is it not a terrible problem to have is having the recognition that like TNA like talent has like our belts that add some prestige to our belts. Fun fact, this is the second promotion the Great Hands have wrestled for on the indies, and this is their first tag team title.
Wow.
And
are they allowed, because I know these are your tag team titles, are they allowed by TNA to actually bring them on to show them on live TV?
probably not, but I would love if they did.
Oh my God. I mean, hell, if you could have the NXT Women's Champion, who is currently JC Jane, go in and promote that title, it'll be major exposure to you guys to have your tag team titles on a TNA show.
That'd be fucking awesome. I'd love it, but
most definitely.
I doubt it'll happen.
But I love to see that, and please.
I will say we are known about, because when we tweeted that the Great Hands were the new tag champs, I tagged both Hotch and Skylar in the post and TNA, and one of the people that liked the post, Carlos Silva. Very cool.
Nice.
So I was talking to my buddy Ernie, and he was like, "You're like a connection or two away from Triple H." But yeah. So our
maybe we'll see some. Maybe we'll see some of your guys on NXT.
I will say Isaiah Moore, Russ Jones, and Primetime Thomas Heim have recently all made appearances for AEW and ROH. Isaiah had a match for ROH a month or so ago, and when they were doing their where were they at for like several weeks straight? Was it Chicago?
I thought they were in like Philadelphia. 23. They were in Philadelphia too.
Yeah,
well, they did like a Chicago like tour where they were in Chicago for like 3 months straight. Isaiah, Russ Jones, Thomas Heim, all like you can see them all over TNA. Primetime Thomas Heim, who's only been in the business for about 4 months, took a spear from Copeland. Isaiah took a boot from Copeland. They probably are not going to let Russ take any bumps because Russ is probably bigger than a lot of the dudes on that roster. So they just have him roll as like security. Yeah, I mean, Isaiah's been on TNA before. So it's a matter of time before some of these guys explode and get picked up. Back to our titles, though. Our top-notch champion, Big Jorge. He was former Vendetta champion. If you know what the option C is for the X Division title, my child's getting into some shit. If you know what the option C is for the X Division title, we do something very similar at Wrestleversary. Whoever walks into Wrestleversary as the Vendetta champion can hand the title to the general manager. If you don't know, Vendetta is our weekly, well, not weekly, but it's our free show that we air every month, the Thursday before all of our PLEs. So
on YouTube.
Yes, 100% free. So Vendetta is kind of like our TV title, and it's only featured on Vendetta. It's not featured on the special events or the PLEs, if you will. So it's almost like developmental because we have a lot of kids on Vendetta that like they are our students at our school, or that's how you get into GLWA is going through Vendetta, because we have a shit ton of people who have been scratching and clawing for years to be on these main shows. So you have to go through Vendetta. And you walk in with the Vendetta title, you can hand it to the GM and exchange it for a top-notch championship match at WrestleVersary. So it's a step up. But if you fail, then it's back down. And now you don't have a belt at all. So Big Jorge is the first person to activate Option V, and he challenged Dustin Mack for the Top Notch Championship, and he was victorious. And Big Jorge, his moniker is the real gangster. He's gangster, I'll tell you. In his first title defense, he made light work of Jaden Quick, who's a former heavyweight champion. He's a GLWA OG. Jaden, at one point in time, before he had 57 kids, was well-traveled throughout the world. Like, Jaden was going to, like, Puerto Rico and wrestling. And so, like, Jaden's no slouch, and Big Jorge made light work of him. In his second match, he got disqualified in his rematch with Dustin Mack, and he did not take kindly to being disqualified, and he decimated one of our officials, Kai Knight, and that caught him a suspension. The thing about our titles is they have a mandatory 60-day title defense claim, not the top notch. The top notch is our workhorse championship. It must be defended at every single special event. There's a mandatory monthly clause for that title. You can defend it on Vendetta if you want, but the pay's better on the main show. So Jorge was suspended. Because he was suspended, we had the options of stripping him of the top-notch championship or creating a little chaos and controversy and making an interim top-notch champion. Dustin Mack won the interim top-notch championship and had one successful title defense with it, and then Jorge returned, and they had a ladder match to unify and become the undisputed top-notch champion, and Big Jorge walked out with that. So what's next for Big Jorge? He has a title defense against a young man from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He refers to himself as the MVP of the MKE, CJ Cole. That takes place 14 days from this recording at our next special event. And that should be a good one. That's two mean SOBs gonna duke it out.
So before you move on too far past that, I just want to mention Dustin Mack is somebody who Eddie and I both have been impressed by. And I know we've only done 2 or 3 videos, but every match that we've seen Dustin in, he has been probably the most impressed that we've out of everybody that we've watched.
Dustin's good. He's come a long way. He was primarily a tag team guy when he got with us, and his tag team partner ended up wanting to go different directions than we wanted to go creatively. So we went a different way creatively, and we let him go do whatever it is that he wants to do elsewhere. And we were like, all right, time for you to do your shit, Dustin. And we had Dustin roll heel for a little while. And he said that he wanted a different challenge. He'd never worked a baby anywhere before. And so we decided to turn him baby and see what he could do. And I think babyface Dustin Mack has found his groove.
Like you were saying, some wrestlers, some wrestlers can go good as a heel, some could go as a baby face. Long as that they get over, it will work out in the long run for both of them. And like what you said about your championship, controversy creates cash, and I'm not using that because of Eric Bischoff's book, but that's the way you know if you're a champion and get suspended, then you just create an interim. It works out because it's putting more butts into the seat.
Yep.
But
It's true.
is that the only championship you have? I thought you had like a women's championship as well.
The women's championship is currently vacated at this time, and that's pretty much all I can really say about it at that point. We do have a Vendetta champion. How do I talk about this without spoiling shit? Our Vendetta champion is Ethan Blake. He was part of a group called The Moment, which was led by Isaiah Moore. And it was Isaiah Moore, Kenzie Black, Twist and Flip, and Ethan Blake. And they, at one point, were holding all the gold. Ethan Blake is the last survivor of The Moment. He ended up leading The Moment to betraying Isaiah, and he became like the leader of The Moment. Right now, he's the only member of The Moment left on our roster. But he's our Vendetta champion. He one of the first 4 graduates from the GLWA Training Academy. He's a beast, and he's cunning. He's just Vendetta at one point in time wasn't the best quality of matches, and Vendetta now has become a must-see thing for GLWA, and that's partially because of Ethan Blake. Ethan Blake, he's been Vendetta champion since the show after WrestleVersary, so he didn't win the title from Jorge because Jorge activated Option V. He won the title in a series. We called it the Knockout Tournament. It started as a 6-pack challenge. It was a 6-pack challenge with 2 falls. So once pinfall 1 happened, that person's eliminated from the match. Once pinfall 2 happens, that person's also eliminated from the match, but the match stops. Next month, we'll have a fatal 4-way. And 2 falls again. And then it came down to Trip, Dakota Triplet, and Ethan Blake. And that was where Trip got his first victory in GLWA. And a lot of people thought for sure Trip had the momentum on his side. And unfortunately for him, Ethan Blake had his number.
Nice. Okay, so I know Tony knows more about it, but you guys have your own version of the Royal Rumble, correct?
Yes, sir. Every January.
Does that person, like back in '94 when they all started that thing, the winner of the Rumble gets a shot at the main event at your version of WrestleMania? I know you did talk about that. So is that how you that's how you guys do your version, the person from the Rumble? Is it 30 men or is it 50 men? Because
we had 50 the one year. We try to do 30 plus every year. So it's always more than 30. It's usually like 32 to 35 people. But yes, every January we host Breakthrough, which is our January show, and we refer to it as the Ultimate Survivors match or Ultimate Survivors Rumble. And the winner of that will get a title shot at the GLWA Heavyweight Championship at WrestleVersary.
Okay, so the match I think I saw is they are lady wrestlers that are a part of that as well too, right?
Yes, this past year we had 3 women enter the Ultimate Survivors Rumble. We had it was Chaos, who was our women's champion at the time, Kenzie Black, who was our inaugural women's champion, and Charlie Pierce returned to wrestling in the Rumble. She actually, in the build-up to our women's championship ladder match that crowned our inaugural champion, she got her collarbone broke by Chaos, who was the champion in Breakthrough. And she ended up eliminating Chaos, which she didn't win the Rumble, but she eliminated the women's champ. So that got her a shot the next month at the women's championship, where she was not successful.
Okay, and then you have your version of Money in the Bank as well, too, right?
Yep, we call it the Race for the Case ladder match.
Okay, and then
that has a 100% success rate on cash-ins. Everybody that's held it has walked out. Everybody that's cashed in has walked out with the heavyweight title or a championship. So we've had one person, Damian Gray, he held it, and he was disrespected moments after he won it by Josh Morris, who was going on to challenge Cliff Killmeister in a title unification match for the Vendetta and the Top Notch Championship. And Damian Grace pulled off the heist of the century in GLWA, and he cashed in the middle of that match, making it a triple threat, and he walked out with both titles. He ended up relinquishing the Vendetta Championship and creating the Option V stipulation.
Nice. Do you guys see yourself doing like I know WWE's doing it with Crown Jewels. You get the Crown Jewels ring or the AEW ring that is currently held by the scumbag of the world, my favorite wrestler, Maxwell Jacob Freeman. You guys ever think about doing that? Like putting your, I know you don't have two world champions, but maybe putting your like world champion and your top-notch champion at the time to wrestle for that one ring?
No, I don't see us doing anything like that, to be honest. We like to keep our divisions kind of separate, and the top-notch champion is our workhorse champion. Yes. And we don't want to. Obviously, you can do it without devaluing one of the titles, but we don't want one to feel more special than the other. Like, we've had several shows where the top-notch championship was the main event. We've had several shows where the tag team championship was the main event. We've had more shows where the heavyweight title is the main event. Obviously, that's the big prize. We've had the women's championship main event. Our first ever women's championship match was the main event of Final Destination from last year, which will be available publicly on YouTube for free the Friday before our live Final Destination show. So that's one thing we do with our YouTube is at one point in time, we were just holding on to all of our content on Patreon. And then we just decided to just post all of it up to the previous calendar year. So at the day before Final Destination this year, we will air last year's Final Destination.
Yeah. Any other than do you guys do almost like a Survivor Series matches, almost like that too? Do you guys do something like that, like in November or something?
We do not. We have done like elimination tag matches before. We've done like 2 of them. They're honestly pretty difficult to structure at the indie level. Either you don't feel like you have enough time, or just you don't always have the right people in the right place. So we'll do a 6-man tag team match every once in a while, but we try to just stick to one fall.
Okay. Let me ask you this, and then here's the other thing that I always see matches that I have watched you. Have you guys ever did a steel cage match at all in your promotion?
Good question.
So we actually did one last December. So our December show is probably one of my favorite shows. I love Christmas. I love the holiday season. I love the decorations and stuff. So our show in December is like very Christmas heavy. We called it Seasons Beatings. at the time when I named the show Seasons Beatings,
ECW.
I wasn't seeing a whole lot of Seasons Beatings as show titles. And as the years have gone on, I've seen so many Seasons Beatings. I was like, what can we do different? And we ended up having this past December's show. It was called Seasons Beatings Snow Way Out. And we kicked off the show with a tag team steel cage match. And let me tell you, the process of it was a pain in the fucking ass. So I outsourced a company to come in and tell us what it would take to build us a steel cage. They were aware that this was something we wanted to do since like September, and they would come, measure, look for quotes and stuff, and I'm like waiting. I'm like, I need to know like what this is going to cost. And they quoted me 10 grand to build us a steel cage. And I laughed and I said, I'll just fucking build my own. So I went out and I drew up like 3 different plans. The first one I made would have worked. It just wouldn't have been great. And at the time I'm like, let's just do it. And then I'm like, no, I don't like it. So then I drew up a different like plan to build the cage, and I bought all the material for it. And then I sat and I was like, that's not going to look good enough. So then I devised a third plan, and that is the one that we put forward. And so the steel cage that we used at GLWA for Snow Way Out, I fucking built by hand. And I built it in like 3 weeks. And shout out to Dirt Sheet Dan, Jeff Clements, one of our biggest fans, our biggest fan. He's not one of, he is our biggest. Primetime Thomas Heim and TJ Cage, because they helped me a lot, literally the Thursday before the show. And so we finished the cage that Thursday, and George from Drop Shop. We finished the cage that Thursday, and that Saturday of the show, I was like, I need to cut like 2 feet off in order to get this to set up easiest. So I got to the gym early, took the panels down, and cut off 2 feet from the top section of each panel. So the cage I built, it was 8 5-foot sections. So the two panels would go together to make one side. And it was a doozy.
So obviously that's a smaller cage than what we'd see on WWE or anything like that. But I also know you guys got a small ceiling, or a low ceiling, if you will, in the gym. I would imagine that had to put
like an 8-foot cage, which honestly, I feel like it might be taller than 8 feet, because it sure looked tall as fuck.
Did it?
Especially when fucking Dante Xavier climbed up it and jumped off of it.
Jeez.
Somebody has to.
Yeah, he was the smallest, so we felt the safest with him doing it.
Right.
That cage will probably be retired and never used again, just because it was held together with like metal zip ties. And I'm like, I don't know if I trust really anybody else. The 4 that we used in that match are like the 4 that I trusted the most to not like destroy it and like go flying through it and fucking lacerate a fucking fan's fucking throat and get us sued and shut down. Jaden wants to wrestle and it's so fucking bad, but I was like, you will destroy it. I do not trust you.
Well,
I would agree with you.
You can always ask Inspector Foley. Inspector Foley, what he thought about going through a cage
Yeah.
and all that with I agree with you. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask you, how can people get to see your live event? What is the prices, and how do they get to you? How do they contact with you? All that other stuff, and what can they expect coming to a live event?
So the best way to follow what we got going on is to follow us on Facebook. Facebook is where I'm the most active, and I understand Facebook more than most the other social medias. We do have a Twitter, X, if you will, and we have an Instagram. So those three we try to stay active on. I'm the most active on Facebook. Instagram and Twitter, I just don't fucking get as well. If you want to contact us, the easiest way to do it is to message GLWA on Facebook. Our next event is Final Destination. That is October 11th at Top Notch Physiques in Coloma, Michigan. I'll give you my best Mickey Matthews impression. That's 6740 Red Arrow Highway in Coloma, Michigan. That's Top Notch Physiques for GLWA Presents Final Destination. Tickets are, $10 general admission, $15 ringside, and $20 VIP. You buy a VIP seat. It's a private section. No one can sit in front of or behind you, and you get a free pop and popcorn, and it's the softest seat in the house. Yeah.
Shit, it beats going to fucking WrestleMania.
Say that again.
I got two questions. Eddie was saying that it's going to WrestleMania, but I got two questions real quick. You mentioned that you guys keep breaking attendance records. Do you have a specific, I would imagine being in the gym, you have a specific limit of how many people you can have in there. Have you had to turn away people when they show up to the shows, fans wise?
We've been really close. Our attendance record that we hit at WrestleVersary, I think it was at WrestleVersary, was 140 people. And that just fucking obliterated our previous attendance record. We did have fans like go up and complain to the ticket lady because she was unaware that we had sold out. And they were like, there's no more seats. So we found a few more seats for them and then put them in the gym. And then we basically, everybody else that came, we were like, hey, just so you know, it's standing room only. I've seen more people in there when they did, the gym was hosting like sparring fight nights for like kickboxing and shit. There was like 200 people in that room. I would not want 200 people in that room. I was sweating like a whore in church, and we were all like shoulder to shoulder. It was uncomfortable. Right. So I would, I wouldn't let too many more people in once you become standing room only.
Makes
so
sense.
We've got like 80 of the purple chairs, and then we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 or 12 like church pews. And those can fit anywhere from 8 large people to 15 like small people. So like
right.
we can put some fuckers in that building for sure. But yeah, the more people you get in there, the hotter it becomes. Just so everybody knows. Don't come to my inbox. Don't come in my inbox complaining that it's so fucking hot. I had one fan message complaining that the gym was too hot and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's the summer and it's fucking warm. So I responded to them with a meme from that 70s show. It was Kelso. And he said, well, damn, Jackie, I can't control the weather.
Oh my God. Okay, so any I know a lot of fans and always want to know is two things. Is there any, I've been to a lot of events, and a person, people ask you, where's the food option? Is there any food options at your event, and how much does it cost?
We do have a concession. Most of it is homemade by my aunt and her childhood best friend, who I also claim as my aunt. They throw down and make they got hot dogs. Sometimes they have pizza, brownies, veggie trays, meat trays, candy, cookies, other baked good. Everything on that table is $1.
Nice.
Yep, and
Nice
we got pop as well, and pop and water. We have a one fan. Man, this fucking stink bug keeps flying by me. I'm about to. His hands are rated E for everyone. So we have one fan. He comes and he waits until intermission, but once intermission hits, he goes over to my aunt and was like, "All right, I'd like to buy the rest of your brownies and give me the cookie bars as well." And he'll clean her out. I got him the one time. Maybe it wasn't him, but one fan was up there while I was talking to my aunt, because she always brings me a Gatorade for after every match. That's my thing with her. He walked up and he bought 5 items, and then he pulled out a 20. I was like, "You got to get 15 more." And he was like, "Okay." And he took 20 items because he only had a $20 bill. And my aunt, she was like, "Ooh, thanks for the sale."
The other thing I gotta ask you, and this is the other thing. Does your wrestlers, because I do see it a lot with sports, then that after the event, does some of your wrestlers come out and give autographs and all that, or take pictures with everybody with some people that want to do an autograph session?
So not after the show. After the show, pretty much everybody wants to clean up the gym and go the fuck home. Yeah. What we do is and this is a fairly new thing we've started, is there's a Zumba room outside of the wrestling room. And if you go through it, there's the bathrooms there. We've started to have all the guys set up their tables for their merch and shit there. And it's basically become the GLWA shop zone. So if you get there early, guys are probably out there trying to sell their shit. If you during intermission is prime time for it. That's where you're going to find the guys, and you're going to get your stuff signed, or you're going to get your picture taken. And that's where you're going to buy your merch, is at intermission. And sometimes, if you're lucky, there will be a fight or two in the Zumba room between a couple wrestlers that are beefing.
That's what you call a typical ECW event, back in the day. Well, we're going to wrap this up right now. Could have been an hour, but first of all, I just
hold on. One more question before we go.
Sure. Go ahead.
If you don't mind. You mentioned that you're a big fan of, or you were a fan of the Elite back in the day, and I wanted to bring it up earlier, but I didn't get a chance to. The stages that you guys have used, the setup. Back when GLWA first started, you guys kind of had the AEW setup, if you will, the tunnels. You guys have shifted so much from then till now. What has gone into the different setups and stages, if you will, that you guys have used for GLWA?
The first one we actually had wasn't the 2 tunnels. The first one we had, if you go all the way back to our first few shows, it's a trampoline frame cut in half. So it's a half circle, and we covered it with tarps and sheets. And then a lot of the locker room would just stand there to watch the other guys match, but you can't see in it. So you don't know that it's a locker room sellout right there. And that was a really cool setup. I really liked, but it just took up so much fucking space. Then we changed the way we had it to the 2 tunnels. We had the baby tunnel and the heel tunnel. And I liked that. I thought it was really cool. And then so when I ruptured my ACL and had to get total reconstructive surgery on my knee, for a couple months, I just told everybody, like, hey, back here, backstage, so and so and so and so is in charge. Don't come find me and don't fucking ask me questions. I'm going to sit in the crowd and just kind of take things in as the fans do. And because this was at the time where our attendance was like really struggling. So I wanted to sit with the fans and I wanted to observe the fans and feel what they felt. And I just kind of sat there and I was thinking about it and I was like, what can we control that other companies can't? Because we are in that building and that ring doesn't fucking move and the ring's always set up. That's basically our room. We can create atmosphere that other companies can't. So we got the 4 stage lights and we kill the house lights and use the LED stage lights. And the entrance area, so it's, man, it's going to sound bad. So when I had my knee surgery, that was when I found out I was allergic to most painkillers. And I, for the first time in my life, dabbled with edibles. And I was just kind of stoned watching shitty indie wrestling. And I was like, man, all these companies' fucking entrance stages suck balls. And I was like, I could build something better. We got those partition walls. And so our current setup, if you look at it and think about it, 2003 Monday Night Raw.
It is. It is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
We've got the TV that's right there, the curtains right in front of it. So you walk out, you'll walk in front of the TV. We've got the TV above and then the 2 side TVs. And then it's like a little tunnel with the flashing lights and shit. So
yeah, I just want to let you know, and this is on behalf of all of us at Tiger Talk, Wrestling and Tiger Sports. We want to let you know we will always support your organization, and we just want to let you know that you are what I have seen, and I'm really enjoying what you're doing with this promotion. So I just want to say that to you personally.
Greatly appreciated.
And all that. So if Tony's okay with this, anytime you have anything you need to be promoted, you're always welcome to hand it to us and we'll promote it on our shows. Our streaming is a little, let's just say, like Tony said, it's a little fucked up.
Streaming's hard.
It is. We can watch it, but it freezes up. But if you have anything to promote, please do so, and we will promote it for you. We want to see you have great success for the future to come, and all.
I appreciate it. I'll make sure to you guys. Well, you guys are both friends with me on Facebook, so
yeah,
you'll start to see stuff that we share and whatnot. But greatly appreciated, and hopefully you guys can make it out to Coloma sometime soon.
we're almost so yeah. Thank you again for coming. So I'd like to thank our sponsor, Fashion Punk, for our first actually live for our first sponsor of this show. I know a friend that says, hey, we'll do that, so please stay tuned for more. So I am Eddie from the Bronx. This is Tony, and this is H2. Thank you for coming on to our show. And like we always say to New York, forget about it, or you could go kiss our ass. But thanks for showing up. So you guys have a wonderful day and take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No problem.